Hey, what's going on, everybody? Theocles Killer here again. Wanted to create a real quick video for you guys to go over some of the changes that Bungie announced today on their stream with the weapons balancing and sandbox changes. So there's a lot of information, so I'm going to jump right into it. Don't want to take too long to create this video. But first and foremost, we're going to move straight into shotguns. Now, these changes from shotguns, from my understanding, really affected the hip fire. Whenever you hip fire with the shotgun. So first off, they removed all of the aim assist from hip fire. They've significantly reduced the magnetism. They've decreased the accuracy while in the air, and they've removed all precision damage. Now, the precision damage is only going to affect everything but two weapons, which is going to be the Chaperone and the Universal Remote. Now that they've removed all precision damage, they are going to give you a 20% increase to base damage. It's kind of thrown off on that by a little bit, but kind of makes a little bit of sense. Now, they also reduced the ADS, which is your aiming down sight, by 25% when rangefinder is equipped. Rangefinder was that additional range. It gave you a boost to the range whenever you aimed. They are going to reduce how fast the weapon is drawn up into position whenever you're using rangefinder. So that's all that means. Ultimately, with shotguns, what it sounded like to me is you need to aim. You're going to have to aim. If you don't aim, then you're not going to get the same results with the weapon. So some changes, not sure how significant they are going to be, but at the end of the day, we won't know for certain until we get out into Crucible and really start pumping some rounds downrange. Moving on from shotguns into pulse rifles. Pulse rifles, they made a couple changes to the high rate of fire weapons, primarily the Clever Dragon and the Grasp of Malak, but they reduced the rate of fire for the highest rate of fire weapons, i.e. Clever Dragon and Grasp, by 7.7%. How significant is that? Again, I don't know. From the firefight that they had, didn't seem like it was a whole lot of decrease, but again, I won't know for certain until I get in there, or we all get in there, and put some weapons downrange. They did reduce their magazine size, which can be really crucial, and they reduced the rate of fire, or because they reduced the rate of fire, it will decrease your overall DPS. Which DPS for them is damage per second. Now, I've always known DPS to be damage per shot, but I guess for Bungie and the Destiny universe, for them it's going to mean damage per second. I'm not quite sure what their fascination is with time, but that's okay. Moving forward, they also did reduce the effect of high caliber rounds. High caliber rounds is what caused us to flinch. Could be quite annoying, especially if you're trying to snipe. So they did reduce the effects of that on individuals. So again, never really felt like it was a great big issue, but it was an issue nonetheless that they felt needed to be addressed. Now, for the low rate of fire weapons, for the pulse rifles, they gave it an increase on the rate of fire. So they increased that upwards for you, and they also increased the damage output, which is really nice, because I've got a spare change. It's got some decent rolls on there. Never really liked how it fired, so it'd be nice to kind of dust it off and see how it performs in Crucible. And overall, they gave an increase to air accuracy while you're up in the air. So it's just another thing that I don't do a whole lot of, so I'm probably not going to notice, but still, nonetheless, it is there for us. Now, moving on into auto rifles. This one is probably the one that's actually got me the most excited. I love auto rifles. I've loved auto rifles since Call of Duty. Most games that I've played, I've quite enjoyed playing with an auto rifle. So it'd be nice to kind of get these out a little bit more. But overall, across the board, they got a buff. Now, they got a base damage increase for the low rate of fire weapons. So your Suros Regime, your raid auto rifle, things along those lines, they got a buff to the damage. So that's actually a really, really nice thing. I'll have to break Suros out and see how it does once the update launches. Now, they also they gave you a precision damage bonus on critical hits. So they give you a little bit of bonus there as well. So two really nice things. They did say that the time to kill is going to go down a little bit. So that's also a nice thing. Don't know how significant or if it's really even going to be that important. But either way, they're making some changes in the right direction for auto rifles to bring them back into the game. And they also increased the air accuracy as well. So again, for you guys it may be important. For me, I'm not really going to notice a whole lot. Now, this is the one that had chat freaking just lit up. Hand cannons. Hand cannons are going to run rampant in Crucible again. I promise you. I can already see it because when I told my 11-year-old son about this, he was beyond elated. So, hand cannons got completely scrapped. So, what does that mean? That means they went back to year one perks or year one performances, which, as we all know, year one hand cannons was fun. It was enjoyable and everything. Now, with that being said, there are some things to keep in mind. So, they increased the accuracy significantly, which is really, really nice. They also reduced the base range by 5 meters. But with the base range also came the magnetism decrease. So, ultimately, what does that mean? Love Deej. Deej put it perfect. Bullets go where you aim them. Aim being the key word. Bullets go where you aim them. Hip fire is not the way to use a hand cannon. You are going to have to aim it. So one of the words that they used was a deliberate or intentional aiming of the hand cannon is what you're going to have to do. So if you can intentionally aim the hand cannon in the right manner, you can be very effective with it. Spamming the weapon, spamming rounds downrange is not the answer for you, and is really honestly not going to benefit you much. You could see it obvious from the live fire exercise that they had whenever they were trying to spam the last word from hip fire. It was not hitting at all. It was struggling quite badly. So keep it in mind whenever you get in and you dust off your hand cannons. Remember, you're going to have to aim. Like I told my son, it's going to be aim, shoot, aim, shoot, aim, shoot. Outside of that, I still think it's going to be a lot of fun. It'd be nice to get in and see what I can do. I've got an Imago loop that's absolutely amazing, so it'll be nice to see what that does. Moving on from that, sidearms, absolutely no change. Didn't hear anything on sniper rifles either, so I really didn't feel like I didn't feel either one of them needed to be used or needed to be touched. But sidearms especially, no one was using it. Maybe we might, with these changes, might see a bit more sidearms in Crucible, but we'll all wait and see. Now, outside of weapons, the special ammo. Now, on my last video, I was kind of curious to see what they had in mind with this, and honestly, they didn't let me down. I really like what they did. I like the changes that they made. It'll be really interesting to see how it does. So it's this right here in combination with the shotguns is really what's going to push everybody into focusing a little bit more on their primary. The gameplay will change quite a bit. I hope it doesn't slow it down. There is that fear, but I do like what they've done. So now what they've done for us is once you start a match, you will spawn in with special ammo. But once you die, your ammo is gone. Your special ammo is gone. So you're going to have to be a little bit more selective as far as what you aim at with your shotgun or your sniper or your sidearm. So keep that in mind whenever you go into Crucible. You'll spawn in with it. It'll be the last time you have it. But to counter this, they did decrease the timer on the special ammo drops. So 11 months ago, they increased it. Almost a year later, they're going to decrease it. So I can't remember exactly how long it was. I want to say it was like 45 seconds or so. Could be a little bit longer. I should have gone back in and got the exact amount of time, but I didn't. I'm trying to get this up for you guys. But it is significantly less time on the... there's going to be significantly less time on the special ammo drops. They also reduced the radius for the special ammo from 100 meters to 75 meters. My son asked me this question, what does that mean? So basically, if I'm at the special ammo crate and you are 100 meters away, currently, if I open it up, you could run over there and pick up ammo. Now, if you're 100 meters away and I open it up, it will not be there for you. So they have reduced that. You are going to have to be within 75 meters of when that crate spawns or somebody opens it in order for there to be ammo on the ground for you. Other than that, that's special ammo for you. They didn't reduce anything outside of that, so that's good news. Now, with regards to special ammo in Trials of Osiris. Trials of Osiris is what my son plays. He absolutely loves it. I'll go in once in a while with him just to play for fun. You will be able to start a match with special. But after that, that's it. Your next round will not have any, so you will have to pick up crates in mid-match. So remember that. Shotgunners won't be as much of a rush. So I believe this play from Destiny this play from Bungie is really going to slow down Trials of Osiris. Either that or people are going to find out a way to they're going to push their primaries. I mean, that's ultimately what it boils down to, and I think that's what we've all been kind of asking for. Outside of that, that's it for Trials. That's it for special ammo. Now for the class changes. They made some class changes that I didn't quite understand why they changed. Didn't make sense at all. Mainly going down to the Hunter and their Blade Dancer. I was not aware that the Blade Dancer had an issue. I don't know who would have complained about it, but either way, they felt that there was an issue and then it needed to be adjusted. But there's a perk whenever you bust into your Blade Dance that it regenerates your health. What they've done is instead of giving you a complete regeneration, you're only going to get instead of a complete regeneration every time you get a kill, you're only going to get 40 points every time you get a kill. So you get a slight bump in your health and a little bit of overshield. Not a complete shield back. So keep that in mind whenever you're doing. And a bonus, which I do like now, whenever you're running your gunslinger on a solar burn, your throwing knife now does solar damage. So that's a bonus. They were the only ones, that was the only one that really had it to where you didn't really have a solar damage. So outside of that, the Titan, Juggernaut, they did a little change on this one, which is fine. Again, I didn't see this being an issue, but apparently they did. But Juggernaut, your overshield will reduce if you are in there for too long. From the video, it looked like, or from the stream, it looked like it was about 2 seconds in the air, and then it would disappear. And they also made it to where if you do not have it when you leave the ground, it will not spawn while you are flying through the air. So they made those couple of changes. So got to be on the ground in order to get Juggernaut. Now, the one that I suspected and actually came out to be much needed is the Stormcaller melee. They reduced the range on it significantly to put it more in line with everything else, with your Voidwalker and with your Solar Warlock. So those will be a little bit more balanced out, the Stormcaller melee. They also reduced the duration of Storm Trance only when you're using Landfall. If you are not using Landfall, your Storm Trance will remain the same. So keep that in mind, especially if you're running your arc based exotic gauntlets. Last couple things, and this will wrap it up. There was absolutely no change to Artifact. However, the Destiny community did not seem to be too thrilled about this, specifically because of Scory. However, I believe Scory is more of an issue with Trials than anything else. But they didn't make any change to Scory. So I apologize to you guys if that's something that you were really wanting. But it didn't happen. And the exotics. They did not get into the exotics like I'd kind of hoped that they would. But they did just do a real quick chain, give us an idea. They did make some changes to Truth, Universal Remote, Young Wolf's Howl. They did make some changes to Blink and to some knee pad issues with some of the weapons. They did say that there will be a complete rundown as far as changes, the things they talked about, the things that they didn't on Tuesday, February 14th, which will be next week. And they'll give us a better, more written in detail as far as what exactly the changes are that they made. But outside of that, guys, until then, again, all this weapon balancing is going to go live on February the 14th, Tuesday, so next week. So we're going to get the changes, and then we'll get the update from Deej or Cosmo. So with that said, as usual, guys, I hope you guys are doing well. Thanks for dropping in. If you got any comments or feedback that you'd like to leave me in regards to the weapons balancing or just anything in that matter, something you wanted to see them do or something you just want to open up for a discussion, leave me a comment in the section below. As usual, guys, thank you so much, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Later.